and some of the analysis of the malware, where you can understand basics and how this malware will be affecting our systems. So it will be very abstract level, so that no much technical things to bother you. It is a very abstract level. Anybody who uses the internet, they can understand this. So basically, the malware term has come from malicious software. So all of us are using some or the other software in our systems. We have Adobe Reader is there, and Word is there, browser is there. All these are some of the softwares which we are using in our daily life in our laptop systems and all. So similar manner, there will be some of the other softwares which are malicious in nature. That means intentionally they have created some malicious software which will perform some abnormal activities which will damage users related things like maybe their financial credentials or sensitive information or any other useful information will get damaged, and which will cause some of the harmness to the user. So this malicious software, in short, we'll be calling it as malware. So this malware can be used for many of the purposes. So it is used to compromise computer functions, steal the data from our systems, bypass access controls, and any other kind of harm to our computer. Any of these are possible. So if we think of any of the system which is a secure system. So this is one of the quotation given by one famous writer. So he says there is no 100% secure system. Why? Because if we are running many softwares in the system today, all the softwares are error prone. No, there are no errors identified in the softwares. But it is not guaranteed that tomorrow also the situation will be same. Right? Tomorrow, either one of the researcher or an attacker, they can identify a new bug which is not previously known. That is a new bug which has been identified from the application. Then what will happen now? Our software will become insecure. Till yesterday it is secure, but today it has become insecure. So those are so many scenarios happened in this manner. So by keeping all these scenarios in mind, everyone will say any system is not 100% secure. If you want to say that it is my system is secure, then you should keep that system in the powered off state. You should not switch on the system. You should not connect it to the internet. That will give you virtually secure. But again, one more level of threat is there: physical security. So anybody can enter into your house and they can copy the data through some mediums like CD-ROM, USB drives, or any other mediums. So physically also it needs to be secure, and virtually also it needs to be secure. So if you want to say your system is 100% secure, that should be powered off and sealed in some concrete walls, right? Then only it is secure. Otherwise, it is vulnerable. Any software is vulnerable. We cannot guarantee that it is completely robust and secure. So 90% of the companies got hacked. Already 90% of the popular companies, that too. Popular companies has got hacked because of the vulnerabilities or weaknesses in the software. These are some of the companies, very few companies which are popular. Microsoft, you might have seen so many security updates for your Windows operating system and Internet Explorer and any other Microsoft products, security updates. So when you see that security update, that means there is some weakness, security weakness available in the software. Because of that reason, they are giving a update now, which is security update. Right? That means there are some vulnerabilities or weaknesses in their software, which has been analyzed and given by the researchers or identified by some of the attackers for their own financial benefits. Right? So these are the very popular companies which got hacked many times, and 60% of the companies got hacked twice. Why? Because if there is a weakness identified in the software, they will only update that particular software but they won't evaluate the software with respect to that root cause. There might be multiple places that root cause will be affecting, but they will not be having that much amount of time. They need to release the security update as early as possible in the market. So they don't think of what is the root cause, whether that root cause gives us any other vulnerability. Like this, they will not analyze anything. So because of that reason, what will happen? Many of the softwares got hacked twice. Root cause will be the same thing, but they will try to identify another vulnerability because of the root cause. So 50% of the companies are unsure about the hack. Why it is so? Many of the times, attackers will try to compromise the system by identifying some of the weaknesses available in the software or in the operating system, and then they will not perform any harmful actions to you. They'll only sit on your computer and they'll be keep on monitoring your activities. So what kind of activities they will monitor? What bank accounts you have, in which bank you have the accounts, and what kind of social networking websites you use, and what is your profile in that. Like that, they will be keep on monitoring and capturing your browsing patterns. And from social networking, they will try to analyze what is your sensitive information, like your date of birth, your mobile number, your what you call place of birth, your marriage anniversary, child birthday, what is his child name. All these kind of sensitive data will be extracted or captured from the from the social networking websites, because that kind of information only many of the people will keep it as passwords for their accounts. Now, from your traffic, attacker has understood you have the account in so and so bank, maybe ICICI Bank or Axis Bank or SBI Bank, whatever is there. Now he will try to use your social networking information to guess your password for the bank accounts. Okay, they will not perform any harm to your system. They will only capture the behavior, browsing patterns and your browsing behavior, and they will try to capture some of the sensitive information from the social networking websites, and they will guess your passwords and try to make some financial benefits out of it, right? So because of that passive in nature, our company or software will not be able to identify whether the software is hacked or it is intact. That is also not sure for the 50% of the companies. So we are saying malware infection, malware injection, all these things. But what are the various types of malware we have, and what is the behavior of each category? So you might have heard about some of the categories in this malware types, but just briefly I will explain each category so that you will have some understanding about this. So all of us know what is this virus. So many of us don't know the abbreviation for virus, because we just want to say virus has come, virus has come. But why the name has come for that? So the actual name is Vital Information Resource under Siege. That means it will identify some of the vital information in your system, and it will try to seize your information, right? So the behavior of this virus is it will copy the virus code as part of the normal applications. Like Microsoft Word is there. Now that Word is a program, right? That is also a program, piece of code. Now the virus code also will get appended to that Word's piece of code whenever you open Microsoft Word. In addition with that application opening, the virus code also will get executed every time. You are not separately doing any virus executions. You are only simply running your normal routine application, but virus has already uh, appended to that software, that Word software. Now, whenever you open that Word software, it will open Word software as well as it will run the code of virus also, right? So like that, any number of times you try to delete that virus, it will again come when you run that software. Okay, so that is the behavior of virus. It copies itself to other files and needs a host file to propagate and execute. This host file can be any application. It will choose some of the popular applications so that there will be many chances of opening it for multiple times. So now you can think of some web browser. Now every day we are using some online activities and services. So we'll be using web browser. So if it can attach virus code to the web browser, done. The virus code will get executed every time when you open the browser. So like that, the virus will behave. And the next category is worm. It tries to exploit the vulnerabilities that are present and can spread over the network. So it will initially enter into one system and it will try to peep into the network, LAN network, and it will be able to identify other systems in the LAN network, and it will exploit the vulnerabilities on those systems also, and this will spread over the entire network. Virus will at least it will be in particular to one system, and if you copy those files into other systems through pen drives or this network and all, that system also will get affected. But worm is like, without doing anything, it will peep into the network, enter into the network to which your system is connected, and it will discover other systems available in the network, and it will go and discover other vulnerabilities in the other systems. So it will spread over the network. And logic bomb, as the name itself indicates, it is a kind of a bomb based on a logic. For every bomb, there will be a trigger, right? So in movies and all, we'll be seeing something like remote will be there, or mobile will be there. When they click on that remote, bomb will trigger like that. Similarly, here it is not a physical bomb, it is a software bomb. So it will be triggering that bomb based on some logic or condition is met. So you might have heard about what you call some logic bomb in 2000, year 2000, I think. When the time reaches December 31st, 12 o'clock or 11:59, all the systems will get damaged. You might have heard this kind of sentence some time back. That is possible only through logic bomb. What they'll do, they'll include some code in your software where it will not do any harmness to you. It will run some virus code only when a condition is met. So in our example, the condition is the time. Whenever the time reaches to that December 31st night 11:59, I have to do these activities. That activities might be malicious. So like this, logic bombs will be incorporated in the softwares. And the next category is backdoor. So as the name itself indicates, it is not through the actual interface, which is our front door for our houses. It is through the back door. Back door means there will be some other channel to enter into our software. So normally for enter into our software, we will be having some interfaces. And for all our interfaces, we will keep a strong password, username and password. But even without knowing that username and password, attackers can enter into our system through this backdoor. So most probably you might have heard about a backdoor present in a router. So router is like if they have access to our router, the entire traffic going from the router can be captured and they can get some benefit out of it. So normally to operate on router, we require our admin password and username and that IP address on which that router is accessible. All these things are required. But there will be some backdoors which are based on so many parameters. Like if I give the input as Mr. Ravi Kishore, then what will happen? It will not ask for any of the passwords. Simply it will give you the access of router. Like that, some hard-coded credentials will be kept in the software whenever we give that hard-coded credentials. So credential is nothing but it can be a simple string. It can be some random number. So when the input matches with that string or number, immediately it will give us the access without even asking for the password. right? Like that, we'll be having some of the backdoors present in the software, and then Trojan horse. So this Trojan horse is like it will act as a genuine program in our system, but it will not be the genuine program. It will try to replace a genuine application in our system with the Trojan horse code. So whenever you run the genuine application, the Trojan horse code will get executed, but not that application. So it will be a deceptive program that spoofs a harmless or useful program, but actually stores other malware, right? And spyware, it will be keep on spying on your activities, and it will try to steal your sensitive information. And rootkits, these rootkits are majorly affecting the operating systems. In the operating system, they will try to replace some of the functionality. Sometimes it will try to replace the operating system itself. Okay, so these are very dangerous, but now almost all the operating systems are robust to protect against these rootkits, but this is one category. And we have the very famous one, bot or botnet. You might have heard about this bot or botnet. It is like attacker will try to compromise your system by identifying some weakness in your software or operating system, and he will not do any harmful actions to your computer, but he will use your computer as a resource. So when it will be useful means, let us say I would like to down one website. When the website will get down, one famous example I'll give you, our IRCTC during Tatkal time. What will happen? Multiple people will be trying continuously to get the tickets. Then what will happen? That server will be exceeded with the number of maximum requests it can handle. So it will give you service unavailable. Server is unable to handle your request, so the service is unavailable currently. So that is what the service down. So in the similar fashion, now let us say I don't. Let us say I have the grudge on CDAC. Now I don't want to allow CDAC.in website to work for some time. What I'll do? I'll use all these bot systems. Bot systems are nothing but which are compromised by the attacker, and attacker can directly issue any command to that system. He will issue any command, and the system will perform that command. Now he will give the command to send a request to the CDAC.in website. Like that, if we compromise some 1 lakh systems, now from all the 1 lakh systems, he will try to send a request to CDAC.in website at a time. What will happen? Generally, our servers will be handling maybe some 500 or 5,000 or 50,000 requests at a time. But we will not be guessing that my server will get 1 lakh requests at a time. So because of that reason, what will happen? Your server will be unable to handle that request. And if any genuine user is trying to access the website, he will get service unavailable. Like that, they will try to perform denial of service attack. You might have heard about DDoS, denial of service, and distributed denial of service. So those are possible based on this bot and botnet. Like this, the attacker will compromise millions of systems, and he will keep all those systems in his control. Whenever anybody wants to down any of the service, he will take money from them, and he will try to perform this distributed denial of service, so that that website will be unavailable for some time, right? So these are very popular categories of the malware and their behaviors. So how this Trojan horse will be affecting our computer? So mostly because of the cracked software or pirated softwares, attackers will try to embed some Trojan horse in the software, and they will release that as a cracked software. Now, when you unpack that software and install in your system, the software will get installed. In addition with the software, Trojan horse also will get installed, right? So many of the people will not purchase the licenses. They will just search for the cracked versions of the softwares, and they will download them and they will install in their machines. What will happen? Those are risky. Many of the times they will be having some or the other types of malware embedded in the cracked software, right? So this is the major channel how those will be entering into your system. So now we are discussing attacker will try to infect your system through any of these categories of malware and all. But what is the side effect of this infection? If they are infecting our system, that is okay, but what kind of risk we have? So that we need to understand first of all. So initially hackers could use our system and internet connection to send some spam emails and spam SMSs. The majority of spam is generated by the infected systems. And the second one is they will be keep on capturing your browsing patterns and your keyboard keys. Whatever you are typing from the keyboard, all those keys also can be captured. So easily they can steal your passwords. In addition, they can steal your credit card numbers and other sensitive information like your address, phone number, all these things, which will help in some identity theft or financial frauds. So in many of the websites, if they click on forgot password, immediately they will ask you your last 4 digits of the credit card or debit card and give your phone number, we'll send the OTP. Like this, some of the mediums will be there. So they will try to collect all these kind of things. And if your phone is also compromised, then they can read the SMS from your mobile, and OTP they can automatically read and they will submit it to the forgot password activity, right? So these all the things can happen, and hackers can log your activity, read emails, view and download the contents of documents, pictures, videos and other private data. And they could use your computer and internet connection in conjunction with others to launch distributed denial of service attacks. And attackers can modify any of the system files, disable the antivirus, delete any of the confidential or sensitive files, and change the system settings also. Like they can embed some proxy server inside your browser. What will happen then? Whatever browsing you are doing, all those browsing data will go to the proxy server. There they can analyze the data. Even they can modify the data and send it to the server, right? All these are possible. These are all the side effects of being infected systems. So this ransomware is also one of the popular malware you might have heard in the previous years, in the recent years. So what this ransomware does is it will try to encrypt entire file system, and it will ask you to pay some ransom, right? Ransom is nothing but some financial currency. Okay, so and to mask their identity, if they are asking to transfer into some bank account number, from that bank account and IFSC code you can identify if this account belongs to which person. Then immediately you can give the complaint to police or keep a case in the court and all. So for avoiding all these things, attackers are using the Bitcoin. You might have heard about this Bitcoin. Bitcoin is one cryptocurrency application which is based on the blockchain technology. So it will try to maintain some currency in the form of cryptographic keys. So without even knowing to whom you are transferring, the money will go and sit in their account. Okay, so there will be having two things, a public key and private key. So public key will be the address of that particular account, and whenever the account person wants to open or transfer the amount, he requires the private key, which is sensitive information for like our password. Okay, and public key is like our account number. Okay, so now just I will explain this scenario. Initially what will happen, whenever you visit any of the compromised website, you don't know that that website is compromised. That is a normal website, but attacker has compromised that website and he has kept some of the malicious links inside that website. Okay, so from that malicious link, whenever you click on the link in that website and all, immediately the malware will get downloaded onto your system and the malware will get unpacked and executes. And after that, whenever the malware is executed, immediately it will be listening for some commands from the CNC server, which is nothing but command and control server. Okay, so it will try to analyze, okay, what is the system fingerprint? That means what applications are there installed in the system, what is the operating system it is running. In addition with that, it will also try to analyze what versions of these applications are being currently installed in the system. So based on all this fingerprinting data, it will try to analyze, is there any exploit available for these software? If it is available, immediately this CNC server will try to send that exploit to the system, right? And that exploit will be again executed on the system, and then immediately what it will do is it will download a public key from here, and that public key will be sent to our system. Now, using that public key, entire file system will get encrypted. So you will not be able to open any of the files. It will be in their own format. You cannot even decrypt, or you cannot even open the files, right? So you can see the fifth step. After downloading the public key, files get encrypted and user will get the notification for sending some ransom. Okay. So now if the files are very much sensitive and if you require that mandatorily, then there is no option. You need to pay the ransom. So that ransom is paid in terms of bitcoins. Whenever the attacker receives these bitcoins, immediately he will be sending you the matching private key. So using this private key, you will be able to decrypt your files and get the files back. But you need to remember one thing here: because of some weakness in your system, he has entered into the system. Now, if you got the private key and if you are not taking any further appropriate actions, the vulnerability will be still existing in your system, and either he may again infect your system and corrupt your files, or he may intimate to some other attacker to do the same task, right? So like that, even though if you get your files back immediately, it is better to take the backup of your files and then update your software, or completely reformat the entire system and freshly install a updated software, updated OS. So that will help you. But after getting the private key back and if you get your files back, then if you are not doing any further action, the same attack may happen again, right? So this is a kind of anatomy of a ransomware attack, how that attacker will be compromising our system and he will be getting access of our file system and this ransom and sending the bitcoins, all these things. So this is a kind of ransomware message displayed to the user. Now he is saying encryption was produced using some public key RSA 4096. To decrypt your files, you need to obtain some private key. Okay, so he is asking send me 0.5 bitcoins. I hope every one of us know what is this Bitcoin. So currently the value of one Bitcoin is 50,000 US dollars. 0.5 Bitcoin is nothing but 25,000 US dollars you need to send to get a private key to decrypt your system files. Okay. So this is another kind of notification. There will be multiple applications based on this ransomware. So here he is asking 500 US dollars. in the form of bitcoins, right? So this is one of the really happened incident, which is Apache's black hole exploit. Using this vulnerability, they have encrypted all the files in that server. So this is publicly available. Anybody can type this exploit name and you can get the details. Just I'll explain you the scenario in layman terms, and then I'll show you some programmatical mistakes or weaknesses, how they will be existing in the software. So initially the user, whoever is there, he will be visiting, this is the normal browsing pattern. User will be visiting some website and the website will respond with a web page. That received web page will get executed in the browser and it will show the web page in the browser. This is the normal scenario. Now if you see this malicious code where the website is compromised, okay, so now user is going and visiting a compromised website where it is responding with the actual web page plus the malware code. Once the malware code is received to the browser, it will try to execute that malware code in the system. When the attack code is processed, it uses information about the victim's computer. That means fingerprinting. It will try to do fingerprinting of the system and then selects suitable exploit codes from a pool of possible exploits. Once the exploits are chosen, it will try to run those exploits and then the malicious software will get installed in your system. Once the malicious software is installed, it will try to encrypt your file system and then it will show you that message ransomware, you send us some ransom. Okay, so this is our normal flow versus this malicious compromised website flow. But in the meantime, you will be able to see the normal web page as it is. In addition with that normal web page, in the background, all these malware code will be processed and executed. Okay, so this is the overall scenario. User has visited one big buggy website where a hidden redirection is injected. So a redirection is there in the web page which is hidden. It will not be visible to the user in the front end, but in the background it will be processed. So once that redirection is completed, it will try to send some exploit payload to the user. Now payload will be downloaded and executed on the user system, and once it is executed, it will try to give some shell access to the attacker. So in the fourth step, we can see returns the shell access and listens for attacker's commands. Now it will be keep on listening for the attacker's commands. So attacker can use your system for any purpose, right? So this is a kind of hidden redirection. This is really happened scenario, and this is the what you call redirection. This is the URL for that vulnerable website where the exploit code is residing. So if you see here, this is a iframe and the width and height of this is 1 pixel and visibility is hidden. So even though this is present in your web page, it will not be visible to you because the style of this HTML tag is hidden, right? This is hidden redirection. Now your browser is directed to visit this website, and whatever the response that server gives, that will come back to your system. So this is the response that will give you once you execute this iframe. This is the response it will give you. It will send you the payload in this fashion. This is a payload malware code which is in the encoded fashion. Encoded is nothing but they will try to mask or a kind of encryption to just to avoid detection from the firewall, antivirus, IDS, IPS. All these things will be able to detect some of the malicious operations. Now they are trying to escape from the detection by encoding the actual code into some of the characters and digits. So when this is downloaded and executed in your system, immediately what will happen? It will try to get decoded. Once it is decoded, immediately the actual code will come into the picture, right? So once the code is decoded, then immediately it will give the remote shell access to the attacker. So this is what the really happened scenario about this ransomware. You can search for this. And what will be the basic entry points of malware? So there are three major entry points of malware to enter into your system. The very first thing is the applications. Most of the times in our home PCs, what will happen? We'll not be updating our applications, or we'll be using some cracked softwares and all. So through that not updated software, it will be having some security vulnerabilities or security weaknesses. Using those weaknesses, attacker will try to come into your system, and he will exploit that application, and he will get compromise of your systems. Okay, that is the first entry point. Second entry point is USB devices or hard disk or any portable storage devices. Now let us say previously I told you virus will be infecting some of the applications in your system. Now assume that it has been infected to the Word documents. Now when you copy that Word document to any other system, immediately what will happen? Whenever you open that Word document in other system, the same virus code will get executed in the second system also, and the second system also will get infected, right? Now using these USB devices, we might be copying some of the files from the infected system, and that infected files will be copying into our systems, and we'll open them. Immediately what will happen? It will become as one entry point of malware into your system. Sometimes the files in the USB or pen drive will also get infected immediately when you insert the USB to the compromiser system, right? No need to copy any file from that system. Immediately when you insert the pen drive, all the files in the pen drive also will get infected with the malware. So that also will become another entry point. And third one is the web browser. So now if the website, whatever you are browsing, if that is compromised by the attacker, what he will do is, in the web pages, he will keep some hidden redirections. Just now we have seen some hidden redirections in the ransomware attack. So that through that kind of redirections, it will try to download malware into our system. So that will be the third channel. So these are the three major entry points of malware possible for entering into our system. So be cautious while performing any activities with respect to these entry points. So we have one concept called zero-day malware. So in the initial slides, we discussed like something like today my software is secure, but tomorrow there might be a new weakness in the software can be discovered or identified by any attacker or by any researcher, right? Now that newly identified or discovered weakness will not be existing with any of the antivirus solutions, right? So if the vulnerability or weakness is already known to the antivirus, it will be able to detect your virus or malware existing in the application or system. But this is discovered only today, right? So first of all, antivirus people have to analyze that what is the root cause and what kind of operations it is performing to make harm to you, and all those operations needs to be created as a signature. That means every virus or any malware will be having a signature. So signature is nothing but what operations it will perform, whether it will attach its code to anything, or it will try to delete something, or it will try to modify any system configuration files. Like that, every virus or malware will be having its own functionality. That functionality we call it as signature. Now, antivirus people have to analyze that new malware, and they have to identify the signature, and then that signature needs to be given as a update. You need to download that update and you need to install in your system. Then only your antivirus will be able to detect that new vulnerability, right? So for all these things, it will take some days of time, some 2 to 3 days minimum, right? Within the 2 to 3 days, what is the guarantee that your system will not get infected with that new malware, right? Your system is already having a genuine antivirus solution. You have purchased a licensed copy of antivirus solution, but still antivirus also don't know about this virus, right? So these kind of vulnerabilities are known as zero-day vulnerability or zero-day malware. It has discovered just now. Nobody knows what is the signature, right? So that kind of malware we call it as zero-day. So this security hole is then exploited by the hackers before the vendor becomes aware and hurries to fix it. This is the zero-day vulnerability. In many of the popular companies, at least if you see here in the first half of 2020, these are the zero-day malwares occurred in the popular companies like Apple with 2 malwares, Facebook 1, Google 3, Microsoft 11, Mozilla 2, Trend Micro 1. These all companies have zero-day malware arised in their softwares, right? So even though antivirus company solutions itself has some zero-day malware, right? So we cannot guarantee anything like any software is 100% secure. So because of these zero-day malware, our antivirus solutions will not help us in detecting or protecting our systems. Okay. So because of that reason, what happened is like two categories of antivirus solutions has been started in the market. The first thing is signature based. As previously we discussed, for every malware there will be a separate set of operations will be there. All those things needs to be analyzed, and it needs to be created as a signature, and those signatures has to be maintained in a database, right? So like that, if we have till now some 1 crore viruses in the market, then your antivirus solution will maintain 1 crore signatures in the database. Okay. So now every operation, whatever is being executed inside your system, needs to be matched with the database of signatures, right? So that is a very typical task, and it is not protecting against the zero-day malware. Why? Because these signatures are needs to be given as update from the antivirus person. Before giving the update, he needs to analyze and he need to create the signature, and then he needs to release it. We need to download and install in our system. Then only it will be protecting against that new malware or zero-day malware, right? But there will be some time lag between the discovery as well as update of my database, right? So since vendors have no prior knowledge of the zero-day, signature based systems will not identify the threat. Because of that reason, we are going for the second kind of antivirus solution, which is heuristic based. So since past 2 to 3 years, some antivirus solutions have started this heuristic based detections also, right? But which will be having false positives and false negatives, right? So I'll tell you what is this heuristic based. So generally, previously we have discussed about what is a signature. That means whenever this virus code is executed in my system, it will try to delete the network file. Let us say that is one operation. Now, deleting a network file is a abnormal activity. Normal application will never perform that kind of activities, right? That is a behavior, abnormal behavior. Like that, if we can identify some of the abnormal behaviors can be executed by the attackers, then we can protect against all those abnormal activities. Like if you see our system files or program files, as an application wants to read the files from that location, but it will not try to modify, or it will not try to create anything new, or it will not try to delete anything from that folder, right? So here, read operation on the program files is valid with respect to any application, but modify, write, or delete, or create, all these operations are not normal operations. All these are abnormal operations. So like this, I will create a behavior rule saying that these files can be opened only for the read only purpose, but not for the delete or write or modify. That is a heuristic rule. I am defining a rule based on the behavior, actual behavior of the system. So like this, for every sensitive resource in my system, a heuristic rule is built. So now the antivirus solutions are providing the combination of these two categories, signature based as well as heuristic based. Now, if a zero-day attack is arised in the market, signature based solution will not be able to detect that 0-day, but heuristic based solution will be able to detect that 0-day attack, right? So that is how our antivirus solutions are effective now, by combining the features of both signature based as well as heuristic based. If you want to purchase any new antivirus solution, first you analyze whether it has heuristic based protection also or not. If it is only signature based, that will not protect your system against zero-day vulnerabilities, right? So to mitigate these zero-day vulnerabilities, we should first of all go for application whitelisting. This is like we have so many softwares available in the market, so where you can whitelist all your system applications. Like in your daily life, you will be using only some 5 applications, like PDF reader, Microsoft Word, VLC player, web browser, and any other one software. So other than those 5 files, you don't whitelist any of the applications. So your system will allow to run only those 5 applications, right? Now, whenever a malware is infected to your system, it will try to download some malicious code into your system, and it will try to execute that malicious code. But that malicious file, like malware.exe is the file name. Now that file will not be there in the whitelist of the applications. So it is not whitelisted. Because of that reason, this binary will not be allowed for execution. Okay, so that kind of protection can be given by this application whitelisting. And second thing is like heuristic antivirus solutions you need to go for. And in parallel or in addition with these things, regularly update your software, all the applications available in your system, including operating system. Okay, and regularly update your antivirus solutions. And sometimes what will happen, if you give any URL, immediately it will show one red color alert saying that this is a reported attack website. So it will just show that, but still if you want to visit that, it will give you the chance. So never visit that kind of reported attack websites where they will be having some hidden malware in it. So if you visit that, the malware will get downloaded onto your system and your system will get infected, right? So these are some of the things about malware. So I hope this helps you in protecting your systems. So with this, I conclude my session. So if we have any queries, we'll discuss now. So SQL injection and cross-site scripting, all these are with respect to the web applications. So this session is for the generic malware, but not web application that